billionaire named Harlan Crow. He's flying Clarence Thomas all over the world on unreported trips, like an Instagram model, taking Clarence to the Maldives and the beaches and all. Paid for his mama's house, this billionaire. Paid for Clarence Thomas' mama's house.
Clarence Thomas has authoritatively blamed everything on Trump as he gave records to put Trump in a correctional facility at last. Finally, footage of Clarence Thomas storming into the courtroom to replace Trump on the Supreme Court has been made public. We will show you the recordings in this video, so ensure you don't pass up a great opportunity. In 2006, the Arizona Cardinals' on-field execution was poor to such an extent that they might be suitably alluded to as the Arizona garbage bins. With the record of 1-4, they were scheduled to play the Chicago Bears, who were highly regarded in the league and had an impressive 5-0 record, especially on Monday Night Football. Two African-American lead trainers, Lovie Smith of the Chicago and Dennis Green of Arizona, were going up against one another. Smith's comments with respect to a preseason game in which the Cardinals won were disturbing. Green. Thank you for stopping by, the viewers. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe to show your support. Also, please make sure to press the bell button whenever I upload a new video so you can be the first to know. Smith described the victory as a celebrated practice and conveyed confirmation that the Cardinals will procure a certified understanding of the Bears' gifts in this ordinary season experience. It is in some cases neglected that in that game, the Cardinals were totally in charge of the Bears for the underlying 3-4, laying out a telling 23-3 benefit by the beginning of the final quarter. The circumstance then took a sudden turn for the worse. The Bears got back in the saddle and arose triumphant in the game. It's charming that no part of that is even recollected. Yet again, the text makes reference to no data on the game or the authentic truth that there was then one pimplementer in the NFL. The central subject of conversation spins around Green's eruption after the game, where he vociferously shouted regardless of being examined concerning the protecting. They're the very people we trust them to be. The client's text is vacant. This account spins around Clarence Thomas. Blackheads have encountered difficulties with Clarence Thomas. He has been a survivor of individuals of color for quite some time, upholding a double-dealing political position of do as I express, not as I do. And his remarkable calm during court procedures has been vital. Besides, he has displayed every one of the attributes that he firmly detests in dark people. Utilizing welfare, behaving dishonestly, being recruited solely for the purpose of diversity, receiving reparations, and engaging in provocative behavior are all examples of these behaviors. Furthermore, Anita Hill attempted to warn us. She attempted to convey Thomas's varied behavior to us. From being improper, at any rate, to being very horrendous to say the least. She endeavored to pass on to us that Thomas was not the singular he depicted himself to be. He needed respectability and had sketchy morals. An African-American lady made one more endeavor to save America from its own pointless propensities. However, the plight of black women continues to be ignored by the United States. In the wake of succeeding Thurgood Marshall on the High Court, Thomas has the fundamental credits expected to turn into a fighter for America. He was brought up in outrageous neediness in South Carolina and at first tried to turn into a cleric, however later found that the Catholic Church was overflowing with bias. However, as Thomas began his ascent to the Supreme Court, something happened. As opposed to working with the advancement of future dark people, he held on to disdain against them for not applying a similar amount of exertion as he did. He turned into the uncle who disliked our absence of appreciation for his strenuous excursion of strolling uphill for 46 miles in the snow. Furthermore, from school, his progress had been stymied by racism, but instead of removing them, he ensured the impediment remained. It wasn't often that a man compared his harassment hearing to a high-tech lynching and said that no one should submit to an outdated system. They will suffer the same fate of being publicly ridiculed, attacked, and discredited by an American committee, rather than suffering physical harm. The assertion made was significant reflection on the elements of race relations and the meaning of a person of color accomplishing influential places in this country, notwithstanding the various impediments forced by the system. But once Thomas got to the Supreme Court, he quickly followed the rules and values that were already in place. It would appear that Thomas gave up his own identity, which had a burden rather than a badge of pride. He lacks pride and feels no connection to his disadvantaged childhood, when Gullah was his first language. The individual who couldn't care less about this is Thomas presently. He is only doing the usual things. Thomas recently vanished from his position, which makes him a member of the greatest court in the whole country, and no one knew. He basically neglected to go to his work. As indicated by CBS, during the becoming aware of 2 cases, Boss Equity John Roberts expressed that Thomas wouldn't actually be available in court, yet would in any case be effectively involved by concentrating on the composed contentions and records. There were no additional details provided about Thomas. Thomas has completely financed his retirement account. Because he is aware that he is just going through the motions at a job that no longer fulfills him and has stopped pretending to care, he is looking for someone to hold him accountable. Close to his You're Returning Home, Thomas the 6 volumes before one another floats a section in the on equivalent Korea. Thomas realized the crucial Diana, it's causing Tobring's direction of no longer to give the Chu the investigation of execution of Rujiva, specifically that Gadu disinfection of EMS in the US and the US. In each letter, Thomas rips wrist to come 4-745-21 deceptions important to Wide Chronicles and got away from Power Soul Star. Unlawful Thomas has not given any critical clarification in regards to the presents he has gotten while serving on the High Court. These gifts are not restricted to simple emblematic things, but instead significant money-related benefits from rich people, as per Pravalika. These advantages incorporate somewhere around 38 getaways and 2 stays at sumptuous hotels in Florida and Jamaica. Moreover, as well as secretly shipping Thomas through personal luxury planes, Tycoon Harlan Crow, who reliably upholds Thomas, likewise got Thomas's mom's home to offer her a lease-free day-to-day environment. Furthermore, Crow funded the training of Thomas's teen grandteffy from Lake Foundation, a renowned confidential live-in school with a month-to-month educational cost of roughly $6,000. Additionally, it is important to mention the participation of Virginia and Thomas, the aforementioned person's wife. She worked as a consultant for Leonard Leo, a conservative legal activist who made an odd request to have her name removed from billing records while still paying her a lot of money. That's what here is. Additionally, her infamous January 6th text messages to the former White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, urging him to remain steadfast in the face of then-President Donald Trump's attempt